This is Comic Geek Speak, episode 1778, Previews.
You got it on Wednesday, and you were psyched about it, going to the volume up. These guys will talk about it, everything the geeks love. From cakes to laser beams, opinions like the seasons on everything you read. And comics, movies, games, toys, artists, Comic Geek Speak, Comic Geek Speak, Comic Geek Speak, Comic Geek Speak, Comic Geek. Uniting the world's mightiest heroes. This is...
I'm Ian Levinstein.
I'm Shane Kelly.
I'm Adam Murdo.
And I'm Chris Everly.
Comic Geek Speak.
Hey, we're back, and guess what's also back? Previews.
Woo!
Oh, my God. It feels like it's been like 7 or 8 months, even though it's been a lot less than that.
I share your fatigue, my friend.
Oh, my God. Time passes very strangely right now.
Wibbly
And
wobbly, timey-wimey.
Indeed.
Wibbly wobbly, timey
And we're now dealing with a sort of a different form of the catalog as well, because we have offshoots.
Yep, that is indeed the case, and we will be attempting to still slot in DC around the same time that we would normally do, but we've got the regular previews catalog, the Marvel catalog, and the DC Connect catalog that we'll be referencing on today's episode.
All right.
And what is the previews catalog number?
Catalog number is 382.
There we go, 382, and that would be DC Connect number 2, by the way, since this is the second month that they've been doing that funness over there. All right.
And Ian, should we tell listeners where you find the DC catalog?
Sure.
So I was unclear on that.
Yeah, sure. So you can find it on DC's site. If you you can honestly just go ahead and go put in the Google DC Connect. And it'll come up. It's on DC Comics' main website as well. I believe under Comics, it should be there to download or read as a full catalog straight on their website. But you can find downloadable versions on websites like AlternateWorlds.com, which is an Australian retailer that's providing it, and I believe there should be a version on DCBS's site as well. For anybody who's using that. So it's online only unless you want to print it out yourself.
All right. Thank you, brother.
No problem. All right, let's get this baby started.
Image.
Mm-hmm. And how about we start off right at the beginning of Image with the Department of Truth number 1. With James Tinian IV and art and cover by Martin Simmons. Cole Turner has studied conspiracy theories all his life, but he isn't prepared for what happens when he discovers that all of them are true. From the JFK assassination to flat Earth theory and reptilian shapeshifters. One organization has been covering them up for generations. What is the deep, dark secret behind the Department of Truth?
You know, I have a mixed reaction to this ad because... Mm-hmm. If it wasn't this writer involved, I'd dismiss it because I'd say I've already heard this story 100 times.
Right.
But he's a really good writer, so
yeah,
it may be worth checking out.
And the art is almost like Sienkiewicz-esque.
Yes, it is.
Exactly the word I was about to use.
Yeah. So I'll be in for that alone. I will agree with you though, Chris, that it does seem like a concept that's been done before, and it'll have to surprise me to get me truly interested in it.
Well, I look forward to the Levinstein reaction. I'm more excited by the ones on the next page.
Mm-hmm. Yep. 2 words: Chip Zdarsky.
Yep. one of the top writers working in the field today.
Yep.
Stillwater. Art by Ramon Perez and Mike Spicer.
Stillwater is also the name of one of my favorite breweries. So that's hopefully not going to become a problem, because I remember that there was a comic that came out not too long ago where there was, I think, a bar in New York City that wound up challenging on trademark. So hopefully Stillwater Artisanal Ales doesn't challenge on trademark here.
I just think of the charmingly obnoxious band from the movie Almost Famous.
Oh, nice. Good reference.
Thanks, pal. I love how sparse the copy is. It makes you want to read it all the more. Nobody dies. In the town of Stillwater, that's just a promise. It's a threat.
Mm-hmm.
And with that writer, that's enough.
Oh, yeah. I'm immediately reminded of the second season of The Leftovers, where they introduce one of the few towns where no one disappeared on the day when everyone else did. And it's almost become like holy ground where people visit it as this like sacred place. And I'm wondering if this is going to be a similar premise.
Well, Ian, you've recommended that show to me, so it's on the list of things I will try to watch before I hopefully die many, many decades from now. So
here's hoping.
Right now I've been sucked into Ozark. So.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that's on my list as well.
How about the next page?
Oh, my God. I love that name so much. Dracula, mother effer! It's hard to think of it in anybody other than Samuel L. Jackson's voice.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true.
Running amok in mid-'70s Hollywood. It's kind of I'm about to say it's like a Tarantino premise, or at least it's a Tarantino imitator premise.
Mm-hmm.
And, if it were in softcover, I'd probably be giving it a shot. So maybe eventually one day I will be giving it a shot in that format.
Well, looking at the art, especially some of the preview pages on page 41, it looks like that they drew the dad from Family Matters into this.
Al the pal from Die Hard.
Exactly. Yeah, because that's 100% what that image looks like to me, and that has me even further interested.
I hope Dracula drives a 71 El Camino.
I hope he eats cheeseburgers.
Extra rare, of course.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
But of course.
Don't cook it at all.
Yeah. So is Emma Kubert related to the Kuberts?
It says third generation comic artist.
There we go. Okay. So I'm in. Talk about a pedigree right there. Inkblot #1, Emma Kubert and Rusty Glad, on a new high fantasy epic, and we don't have a certain sci-fi epic back yet, but that saga will continue eventually. But for now, I'm still looking for new books, and this is certainly intriguing me on the premise. About a magical cat that can travel through time, space, and reality. Like, all right, why not?
Mm-hmm. I guess as if we didn't have enough magical cats in our lives from reading Monstrous, here's another helping.
Exactly.
Doctor Who whiskers.
Page 47, the final issue of Sex Criminals, which they've skipped ahead so they can have the fittingly issue 69 as their final issue.
Part of me wishes that the cover just said "nice."
I hadn't noticed that. So you're saying that there were only 30 issues published prior to this one?
Yeah, it says they skip ahead 39 issues.
All right, yeah. You know what? If anybody could do that, it's them. That's awesome.
What else
Hello,
we got? An image.
chicken.
Yeah, sorry about that in the background.
No, it's fine.
Well, in the name of charity, jumping back one page to page 46, Ice Cream Man presents Quarantine Comics with an X special #1. Apparently, this is a print collection of 6 mini comics produced by the creators of the Ice Cream Man ongoing series, W. Maxwell Prince and Martin Morasso. And Ice Cream Man, this is a series that I think I nominated this for Best Sleeper Hit in the CGS Best of Awards a few years ago. I'm not a person who generally goes in that much for horror comics, but this is really imaginative, well-done stuff. The Prince and company experiment a lot with format and tone and all that good stuff. Each issue kind of breaks new ground in horror comics. And so I guess the creators were just noodling around and created a few online comics to pass the time here during the COVID quarantine. And now that the quarantine has abated somewhat, they're putting out this print edition for sale to raise money for a charity or two that are supposed to be raising money for to help comic shops get back on their feet. Into those who had to close down and probably lost an awful lot of revenues during the coronavirus shutdown. So I'd call that a worthy cause, and it's certainly it's a great series. I want to own all the Ice Cream Man material that's out there. Mm-hmm. So it's good for me. It's good for LCSs around the nation. It's a no-brainer. I'm definitely going to order a copy of this. It's 56 pages of Ice Cream Man content, $5.99.
Sounds delicious.
It sprinkles on.
Page 48, and nowhere does it say that this was issues first, so I think this might have been one of those comics that perhaps was supposed to come out in singles, and then they opted to go trade only after everything that happened in the world. But Gunning for Ramirez, Volume 1, by Nicholas Petramo. Another one that looks like it's going to be very Tarantino-esque in some ways from that cover. But what if the deadliest assassin in all of Mexico, a man with dozens of kills to his name, was actually a vacuum repairman in Arizona? Like, okay, that is strange enough. So I think I'm in on that premise alone.
Well, here they're tapping it into two of my favorite movies, Pulp Fiction and To Live and Die in L.A. So that's definitely something. I'm looking at page 56. I never finished Jupiter's Legacy. Did anybody read that whole series or no?
Not the whole way through, no.
Okay.
Yeah,
because what I read I really enjoyed, but I don't remember why I didn't stay with it. But
probably got fed up with the delays.
Oh, well, that could be a factor, sure.
Yeah.
And is this on Netflix? I didn't even know that.
It's going to be if it's not already.
It's going to be, yes. Going to be is correct, Shane. It's not released yet, but it's. They also, Mark Miller made that deal with Netflix where pretty much almost everything other than Kick-Ass is under the Netflix umbrella now with him.
Yeah.
So like they have first dibs on making stuff out of almost everything in the Millerverse.
Murd, am I correct to remember that this series irritated you?
What, Jupiter's Legacy?
Yeah.
Now, only insofar as Miller's style in general was starting to irritate me at that time. But yeah, and the aforementioned delays didn't help things along either. I'm pretty sure I bought the first two miniseries. But yeah, of course I haven't read them yet.
Well, that time will come.
Yep. Page 58,
Yes.
by the way.
Oh, a new Monstrous trade.
Yep, exactly.
Oh.
Yep. Had to bring that up. Issues 25 to 30 of Monstrous are solicited here.
Okay.
So you get more out of your Monstrous.
Wonderful, because I'm only reading the series in trades. That's really exciting. Mm-hmm. Now, on the opposite page, who's watched it yet?
I have not. Yeah, it's on my list though. I'm going to be watching it sometime in the next few.
So maybe next comic talk, because I watched it this past weekend.
Yep.
And I'm a big fan of the book and of course of Rucka. So I look forward to discussing that.
What I did watch instead was there's a movie that got released on Hulu called Palm Springs, which is
I want to watch that.
Oh, it's so good, Shane. You would love it.
It looks really good.
Yeah, it's a take on Groundhog Day, only instead of one person being stuck in the loop, more than one person is stuck in the loop. And
I love Groundhog Day.
Completely changes the premise, and Andy Samberg is in it, and it's fantastic. It's really good.
Yeah.
Yep.
I caught total sidebar. I caught on Amazon Prime. I didn't realize it was going to be on there. I watched Knives Out the other day.
Oh, it's so good.
So good.
I loved it. That was so much fun.
Yep. And I actually just finished, speaking of Knives Out, since they're both in Knives Out, the boy in Knives Out and Chris Evans were in a Apple Plus show called Defending Jonathan or something like that.
Yeah, and the mother is from Downton Abbey.
Yes, Defending Jacob. That's what it's called. Yeah, and I just binged all 8 episodes of that over the week, because what else are you going to be doing in this in these times with binging TV? I also want to mention real quick on page 64, because I missed when this was announced in the first place, but there's a follow-up to Chew being released, and this is the third issue of that. Writer John Layman, art by Dan Boltwood, and it's called Chew, but spelled CHU, and it's about another member of the Chew family, and I'm certainly gonna have to check this out because I love Chew in the first place.
I just love the ad copy. Massacre at the Old Folks Home. If you love elder abuse, this comic is for you.
Yippee-ki-yay.
God. I picked up, I haven't read it yet, so I'll talk about it when we do our next comic talk, but I got Adventure Man #1, which is issue 4, listed on page 61, which is a Fraction Dodson effort.
Nice.
So I'm really excited to read that. I'll report back on that.
Definitely.
I also got on page 68. I haven't read it yet. Also, issue 1 of Aaron's new version of The God Damned, which was the first volume is all about exploring humanity in really early, like Old Testament times, and it's riveting and brutal. So, interested to see what this new volume is going to be like.
Anybody have anything before page 76?
I do not myself.
Okay.
No, I do not either.
I had to jump right to it. Savage Dragon number 252. Savage Dragon salutes the funnies. Eric Larson pulling
What a great cover.
Oh my God. Pulling some magic out of his hat with this one. Peanuts parodies, Dick Tracy, Doonesbury, and Blondie, and a whole lot more, all in a Savage Dragon issue. That I don't usually pick up Savage Dragon. I might have to for this one.
Mm-hmm. Same here, Ian. Same here.
Yeah.
Yep.
That cover blurb. Good news, now published every month.
You guys ready for Dark Horse or more for Image?
I'm ready for Dark Horse, and I've got something right off the bat. Page 80.
Fire away, Twinkle Toes.
Tales from the Umbrella Academy. You Look Like Death, #1. Gerard Way on writing, and co-written by Sean Simon this time around. Gabriel Bad did the cover, but looks like we'll have a different artist on the miniseries than the normal Umbrella Academy. But this is about Seance of the Umbrella Academy, and I think each issue is going to be about a different kid in the Umbrella Academy. So that should be pretty cool, and get some side stories to flesh out the world a little bit more, just in time for season 2 of the Netflix series to come out at the end of the month in July.
Oh, all right. Check out on page 88. Evan Dorkin doing Bill and Ted.
Yeah.
He's
Yes,
back.
not for the first time either.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I didn't realize that. Okay.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
he did Bill and Ted's excellent comic book a long time ago. Yeah, our friend Fred Chow, who was also at one time a cartoonist, he's probably the world's biggest fan of that series. I think he's library bound all the issues. He, was willing to subject himself to the verbal abuse that Evan Dorkin famously inflicts on his fans just to get the thing signed. I'm sure he's on cloud 9 right now that this thing is being published from Dark Horse.
Yep. In fact, I think we may have actually brought up the Bill and Ted collections a couple of previews ago, Murd. So
And I invoked Fred's name then too.
Yep. Yeah. So I'm glad to see a new series.
This is a prequel to the forthcoming film.
Indeed.
Mm-hmm. And a sequel to Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey from 1995.
Wow.
Oh man.
It's art by Roger Langridge. Hey.
I want to point out page 91. This may, if we do awards for this year, this may be my miniseries, Skulldigger and Skeleton Boy. This is phenomenal. I've read the first 3 issues. They just resolicited issue 4 here. It's Jeff Lemire. It's from the world of Black Hammer. It's like a take on like the stereotypical like grim and gritty vigilante you would see in comics like in the 80s, especially in the 1990s. But it's Jeff Lemire doing it in the world of Black Hammer. So obviously there's a lot more to it than just the stereotype would have you think. And it also looks at the concept of the kid sidekick from a very different and disturbing perspective, this is a great book. Another example of how the Black Hammer universe really, I've yet to read something that I haven't thought was really wonderful. So I highly recommend this.
I got something on page 99.
Proceed.
Again, I'm going off of name here because we'll destroy the galaxy for cash. Love the title by Yahtzee Croshaw. And with the age of heroic star pilots and galactic villains completely killed by quantum teleportation, the ex-star pilot currently named Dashford Pierce is struggling to find his identity in a changing universe. What could go wrong? If you need to ask, you don't know Dashford Pierce.
I love the name.
Yeah. That's what drew me to it, as did the cover, because I kind of like that sly look on his face there in the painted style cover.
Next to that, I think we mentioned this before. They must have resolicited. This is a very exciting collection, Noir, a collection of crime comics. I mean, come on. Azrael Lemire, Brubaker, Motter, Chris Offutt, Alex DeCampi, Paul Grist. Wow. Joel Jones, Sean Phillip, like Gabriel Ba, Fabio Moon. I think that'll be $20 well spent, and that's before the discount.
Yep. Absolutely.
I've been watching a lot of retro toy videos, old 80s and 70s things that I find on YouTube or wherever. And page 95 with the toys of He-Man and the Masters of the Universe made me think of that. A massive 700-plus page full-color hardcover chronicling the quintessential toys of He-Man and She-Ra. Might be cool for any Masters of the Universe fans, especially the toy lines.
Look at Castle Grayskull. God, it was small.
I know, right? Yet it seemed massive back then. Now I'm no He-Man fan. It's just not a toy line I ever got into, or really a cartoon. But I do appreciate when I used to see him in the stores. Even when my boys were first born and I was working at Toys R Us part-time, there was the new line of He-Man stuff coming out that was fun to look at.
Is there going to be a series coming out?
Yes, there's going to be two, actually. If I remember reading correctly, one is a reimagining and one is a sequel. I think Kevin Smith is going to be working on the one that's more of a sequel. And then there's another one that's supposed to be a reimagining along the lines of what they did with She-Ra, basically bringing it into a new generation.
She-Ra.
And before we get off of Dark Horse, this one's for you, Murd, page 104. That Hellboy holiday ornament is so cool.
I do agree. I've become a pretty fair analyst of ornament design over the years. That's a good one. Maybe a little bit busy. I can see quite a few breakage points there. And I'd like to be able to offer that for sale in our Christmas barn, but I'm afraid most of our customers would just think it's kind of an odd-looking Krampus. It would not find its audience at Murdo's, I'm afraid.
Let me tell you what was thrilling about that moment. The fact that Murd used a phrase like breaking points to show his expertise and professionalism when it comes to ornaments. That was, that gave me a real jolt.
Yes, we have actually declined to order quite a few ornaments over the years by just identifying them as breakage hazards.
Fantastic. You guys ready to jump over to the DC one?
Sure.
Absolutely.
All right.
Okay.
So I'll call it up on our screens here.
All right.
Doth.
And I can start us off on page 5.
Please do.
Because, wow, what an anniversary. Detective Comics number 1027. Light the bat signal, ladies and gentlemen. As you've got Bendis, Kelly Sue DeConnick, Matt Fraction, Tom King, Morrison, Rucka, Snyder, Mariko Tamaki, Tomasi, James Tynion IV, Marv Wolfman, and tons of others. Art by a whole slew of excellent creators like Romita Jr., Sienkiewicz, Simonson, Chip Zdarsky. Wraparound cover, a gorgeous wraparound cover by Andy Kubert, celebrating the anniversary of the first appearance of Batman.
Wow. 1,000 Batman stories in Detective Comics alone.
Amazing.
Yeah, right.
Absolutely
Yeah.
amazing. Yep. That's an achievement.
They've
that-
got me. I'm going to pick it up.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, me too. I usually
Yeah.
I try to stay away just from Detective Comics, not because it's bad or anything. I just don't buy it anymore. However, I love anniversary issues.
Oh, yeah.
Yep, don't we all? And nowadays, sorry to say it, but $9.99 for 144 pages for a $9.99 cover price is starting to sound like a bargain.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
All right.
Now, I had kind of forgotten that they had ever, because it's been so long, gentlemen, I'd kind of forgotten that the first issue of Batman 3 Jokers was ever solicited.
I don't even remember
Yeah.
it at all.
Yep.
So I'm worse than you, Ian.
But they're soliciting the second issue here, so I guess I'll have to track down the first when it's released.
I think I did pre-order the first.
No, I'm sure I did.
I did skip over Deceased though this time.
Yeah, it's a side series or a follow up.
Yeah.
Usually, by the time you get to the second or third of these zombie stories, it kind of becomes also rants.
Yeah.
Now I see they're doing another installment in the Metal Saga here.
Yes.
Yep.
Inspired to call it death metal. But Trinity Crisis.
Now, Murray, what do you think about the word crisis there?
Well, I think it'll give him a shot in the arm sales-wise, including from me. 'Cause
Yeah, me.
not just because of the word crisis. I did read the copy. I saw the words anti-monitor, and that pretty much did it.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, and there's definitely some wacky, multiversal fun going on
Yep.
from that cover alone.
Yep.
Yep.
With more to come in the other one-shot that actually has the word multiverse in its title.
Yep.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing I have to look up is Perpetua. I thought we defeated her in Justice League, but I have to go back and re-look at the last few issues of Justice League that I covered that in.
Well, these people rarely stay defeated, Shane. You know.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
Looking at that cover of Death Metal Multiverses End 2, it looks like we've got Guy Gardner, possibly the JLI version of Guy Gardner, just looking at the outfit.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, pretty sure.
Yep.
Yep.
We've got
Captain Carrot.
Captain Carrot. Yep.
Uncle Sam. Yep.
President Superman, and it looks like also is that
Tangent Green Lantern.
Yeah, Tangent Green Lantern,
Red
also.
Rain Batman.
And Kingdom Come Flash, correct?
Yep. Iris Allen.
Yep.
Yep.
Or Iris West, excuse me.
Yes.
Wally's kid.
Yep. Very cool.
All right. Let's see what else we got here. New Hellblazer miniseries on page 16.
I'm so glad.
Art by Derek Robertson. Wow.
I'm so
Sorry, Ian. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say I'm so glad they gave up on trying to not call him Hellblazer.
Oh, that's right. That was a thing for a while. Yep.
Yeah, because hell is bad.
Well, this is Black Label, so I guess they figure they can get away with it here.
Yeah, exactly. Frankly, it's where John Constantine belongs, is in the Black Label.
Too right.
God, I miss you, Murd. Oh.
I gotta say, I always, the last two seasons, I should say, I watch DC Legends once it's over, and I kind of binge the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
I absolutely love that they've used him on that show the last 2 years.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Yeah, I think they've done an excellent job of building upon the character that they created in the NBC show.
Yep, absolutely.
Are they using the same actor?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah. It's fantastic.
Yep. Yeah. And they've even
it's
referenced it.
totally silly and almost irrelevant in some ways, but I love it.
Yeah. No, it's great, and for how much slapstick it has, that's what makes it so damn fun.
Yeah, yeah. Yep.
All right, so we got the Joker War here. or Joker, the Joker Warzone. I don't know.
Nope. Nope.
Yeah, I'll pass.
Same.
If I want to read it, I'll read it on an app somewhere down the road.
Exactly. Yeah. But hey, the finale is called The Last Joke.
Come and knock on our door.
Shane, you're in top pop culture form tonight, bro. Fantastic.
Did you know, speaking of Three's Company, did you know that when John Ritter is riding the bike toward the camera and falls off because he turns around to look at a pretty girl walking by with, I believe, dark hair or red hair, that was actually Suzanne Summers walking with a wig on.
Oh.
I just read that somewhere not long ago. It was one of those so many things you didn't know about such and such.
Leave it to Don Taffner to be too cheap to pay an additional actress.
Murd, is that the name of the showrunner or producer?
Oh, yeah, it's Don Taffner Productions, yeah.
See, here's the thing. Normally, if I saw Murd now, I'd give him a manly embrace, but I can't. It's damn, after that kind of name drop.
I miss you too, Chris.
Also, since we're just talking about 80s sitcoms, now the only thing going through my head is sit Ubu sit, good dog.
Speaking of actually I had no segue there at all. Forgive me, but what I was going to talk about on page 30. So Strange Adventures. Tom King, Mitch Gerads, Evan Doc Shane are doing a Adam Strange story. I've read the first 2 issues. It is tremendous.
Yes, it is.
I mean, so Shane, you've read it then as well.
I read the first issue. I have to read the second one.
But so I'm not going to say a word except that it's such a Tom King approach in that when you think about when he's talked or written about his experiences in Iraq and the CIA of that story he did, what was it, Babylon? Crap.
Sheriff of Babylon.
Sheriff of Babylon. Thank you. When he looks at you think a story or an event is one way, and then he flips on its head and gives you a whole different perspective, and then you start to question everything. That's what this book is all about. It's superb, and it's using the character Mr. Terrific in a really compelling way. So
Nice.
Highly recommend that.
Going back a couple of pages, quick mention: Superman hits its 25th issue since the Bendis run began. So congratulations on that. But bringing it up mainly for El Founderino's sake, as Deemer sung the praises of Bendis' Superman, and then news came out that Bendis was quote unquote nearing the end of his run. He then clarified that he's nowhere near the end of his run. He just knows where it's going to end.
Okay.
Yeah, so that it's not happening anytime soon from that we know. So for now, Bendis is staying put on the Superman titles.
See, and you've just done a great service for the CGS family because you can imagine Deemer's wrath.
Yeah.
And you probably saved him another trip to the hospital by revealing that. So
More than likely.
well done. Yeah.
My pleasure.
What else we got here?
Well, I like the looks of the Teen Titans Go Roll With It trade paperback.
Oh, yeah.
I think that
No,
just be a
Crevin
lot
for
of fun.
kids. Terrific.
Yeah.
That's cute. And D&D is certainly in these days.
Yes, it is. I wish God, it's been 30 years since I played D&D.
I just played my first online D&D not too long ago, and I'm trying to keep that habit up, but we'll see what happens.
I bought the new handbook when it came out. It was a few months out. I couldn't get my kids interested in it to save my life.
Maybe.
It's okay.
So also, sometimes it didn't hit me until now, Shane. So like, you never know when the urge is gonna overtake you.
Yeah.
Going down to page 36, DC Classics: The Batman Adventures #4, written by the one and only Martin Pasco. Done.
May he rest in peace.
Yep.
Indeed.
Yeah, and it's nice to see them going back to a Batman Adventures story of all things.
Yeah.
So that's pretty.
I love the trade paperbacks of those they came out with. They're beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah.
And right above that, they have the new ongoing book that's
Yep.
being done in the animated style.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah. Thrilled that exists,
Yeah,
Me too.
especially with Templeton on art.
because Templeton did the old animated Batman comics, correct?
You got it. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Wonderful. Something I noticed, but you know what? I'm going to go too far ahead. I had something I wanted to say about Hawkman, but we're not nowhere near there yet. So,
Oh, I can't wait for this. I have not been following Hawkman, but I'm going to get this issue.
but we have to talk about first because I thought of it immediately. Is on page. Damn it! I can't see
43?
this.
41, perhaps?
41. Yes, go ahead, Mert.
Yes, it's a very impressive offering here in Batman Superman Annual #1. It's a Mixus Pitlick and Batmite team up, which usually don't end well for anyone involved, as they pit Superman and Batman, their respective heroes / foils / prank victims against one another. The artwork, it's written by Joshua Williamson, art by Dale Eaglesham and Clayton Henry, and also Gleb Melnikov, of whom I've never heard. And the cover by Gabriel Rodriguez. Look at that image. Have you ever seen Batmite look scarier?
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Especially sitting on top of what looks like chairs to the Legion's Hall of Doom.
It's like part Coliseum and part Hall of
Yeah.
Doom.
It's also been quite some time, Mert, since I've seen that old school design of Darkseid.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a great cover.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Batman has the kryptonite radiated chains.
Yeah, just to make it a fair fight, I guess. But yeah, this is absolutely going in my cart for this month.
Well, I before we get to Hawkman, page 43, have to mention it. It's finally reached the conclusion. Finish line finale. The Flash number 762 ends the all-star run of Joshua Williamson on the Flash. He supposedly is not done with the Flash family, and there may be something to come after this, but his run on the Flash title concludes with this issue.
101 issues. Wow, what an achievement!
Amazing.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Indeed.
Yeah. And
Now, Ian, have you read his entire run?
not the entire run, no, but I've read choice parts of it. And I'm going to sit my butt down and read all of it at some point.
Because what you've read, you really praise, correct?
Adore it, yeah. Especially the retelling, the year one of Flash. I gave very high praise in the CGS Best of, and pretty much everything since Rebirth has been stellar. And it's one of those titles that's just been it's kept going. It hasn't even been like highly praised that much on the internet. It's just solid, and I love it. And it's also had some amazing Howard Porter art for most of its run.
Yeah. I think I stopped just before. I think the last issue I read was the issue before year one started.
Mm-hmm.
So I have to start from year one going forward.
Yeah. You'll love it, Shane. It's great stuff.
All right, Shane. What gives you goose pimples about Hawkman 27?
The JSA, man. Come on.
That's a
exciting
gorgeous
stuff.
cover. That's a gorgeous
Sure
cover.
is. Sure is.
Oh, by Mikel Hanin. Yeah, that figures. Yeah, that image has definitely sold a copy of Hawkman to me this month too.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Ian, did you read the first arc of this series?
Yes, I did. Yeah.
And you also praised that, correct?
Mhm. Yep. Yeah. No.
Okay.
It's really good Hawkman. It's comparable to what Johns did on the title.
Well, I love that. So I think I'm going to get this in trade because I love Hawkman.
Yeah.
Yeah, that run that Johns did, that's my favorite Hawkman stories I've ever read.
Yeah. Is this the first time we're seeing that design for Hawk Girl? By the way,
I'm pretty sure it is.
Might be. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's almost. I mean, I hate to say this, but the way that she's drawn, it kind of looks like a Thundercats costume.
Wow. You have hit
Chitara.
the nail right on the head.
Thunder, 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 cats.
Nice.
What else we got for DC, brothers?
Let's see.
Speaking of Robert Venditti again, on page 48, Justice League Annual number 2, a locked room murder mystery in the Hall of Justice.
That sounds like fun.
Yeah.
So that might be a fun one shot.
Legion of Superheroes on page 51 has something interesting. In this issue, 22 pages by 22 amazing artists.
Okay, so the last time that I saw something like this, it was a stunt, and it was an issue of X-Men back in like the mid-2000s, where it wasn't because they did it on purpose, it was because they were completely behind schedule.
Should be.
And they had like a different artist draw a different page. I'm not saying that's what happened here, but it was a gimmick then, and I hope they pull it off this time around.
Yeah.
What else, guys?
Well, Gossamer behind Porky Pig on Looney Tunes 256. I've been watching. I've been kind of doing it sparingly just to make it stretch out a little bit. Watching the new Looney Tunes on the HBO thing. They're pretty good. I've been pleased.
Nice. Murd, I heard news. I'm not sure what the final issue is going to be. No, this is actually the final issue on page 55. They're concluding the Shazam series with issue 15.
Oh, and I've just noticed that it's not even Jeff Johns writing it. He's passed it off to... He likes giving work to other guys named Jeff, I've noticed. Remember when he co-wrote that Booster Gold series with a guy named Jeff Katz?
Yep.
And now
Yep.
Jeff Loveness to take his Shazam series to the finish line. Art by Brandon Peterson. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's worth it. It's just sad to see another Shazam series go.
Yeah.
Are they planning a sequel to the film?
Yes, they are.
Yeah.
And I believe they still plan on having The Rock play Black Adam.
As far as I know, that's true, and I think the film itself is. The last thing I saw was Dwayne Johnson promoting it, saying, "Hey, something's coming," but it was more of his film, and Shazam's kind of in it, but its focus is Black Adam.
Okay.
But now that was months and months ago.
Right.
Ian, I'm sure you're excited about the cover on page 59.
Let's see. Scrolling down. Oh, yeah.
Proceed.
Just seeing the two of them together just makes me happy. And even the variant cover is gorgeous too, having the entire team on there. But Tim Drake under his new, still strangely named Drake moniker, because
Yeah.
clearly he doesn't care about a secret identity anymore. Because come on, and
Why is it? Wait. What is the genesis of that?
that
It was when they were in an alternate reality of one of the multiverses.
Yep. They wound up on I think Earth 3, if I remember correctly. The evil Earth.
Right.
And they run into the evil version of Young Justice on that Earth, and
That's right. Yeah.
That Tim Drake is running around as Drake, and he thinks to himself, that's a better moniker than Robin. So he decides to take that up and gives him the new costume and all that jazz.
I love that they're keeping Tim and Steph together.
Yes.
A lot, but I first can't stand the moniker of Drake, and I don't like the color scheme on that costume.
Yeah, I part of me wants to just redraw it with the red and the green, and it would probably look way better.
Yep, agreed.
Yeah.
I don't care if he keeps the new costume, just flip the colors to what they're kind of supposed to be in my mind, and you'd be all set. I liked when he was Red Robin for a while.
Oh yeah, no, I agree
thought
with
that was spectacular.
I thought he rocked the Kingdom Come outfit pretty well. That whole run with Nicieza was very well received, and I enjoyed it a lot.
Yep, I put that up there with the short-lived Hour Man series.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Which I still have to read. You guys have all praised that for years.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so much fun.
Jumping back for a minute, gentlemen, they're promoting the heck out of this with a 2-page spread, but page 56 of Suicide Squad, it looks like the death of Deadshot.
Yeah.
For one thing, let's see if this sticks. But the other, Tom Taylor is a good writer. Very interested to see how they're going to pull this off, and it does include Ted Kord in the mix somehow.
Yep. I have to track down issues 6 and 7. I was reading something online when issue 5 came out, and they first said Ted Cord. I immediately went and ordered issues 1 through 5 from somewhere, and then I pre-ordered issue 8, so now I got to track down 6 and 7.
Nice.
I was completely intrigued by Ted Cord being in the mix somewhere.
Mm-hmm. I figured you would be.
You guys ready for some trades?
Yeah, let's do it.
I was interested to see they're doing a new collection of a series I've always revered, which is Planetary.
Yeah.
That's a great series.
Yeah. My computer just went wacky. What page was that again? I'm sorry.
It's
on page 66.
Mm-hmm.
66. Okay. Yeah. This version, they're including some of the one-shots and the crossovers like Planetary the Authority, Planetary JLA. If you love, to those listeners who have not read Planetary, if you love stories that involve, conspiracy theories, secret societies, it has a pulp feel to it, like pulp characters, alternate realities, you will eat this book up.
Yeah.
It's Warren Ellis, stunning art by John Cassaday. It had legendary epic delays of issues when it was running, but get the whole thing, you will not be disappointed.
Yeah.
One thing I'll have to note, though, Chris, is over the past couple of weeks, there have been some allegations that have come out against Warren Ellis of a sexual nature. That I'm not saying that this will delay the release of this, but it's certainly possible because I think a project he had with Image has already been canceled due to that. So it's. I praise Planetary as well. You can certainly praise the work of an individual and not praise what he's done as a person. But I'm curious to see if perhaps DC might delay this a little bit.
All right. Yeah. Thanks for that news flash.
Right below it, Batman Adventures Nightwing Rising collects the Batman Lost Years as well as Gotham Adventures #1.
That's great.
Yeah.
That was a fun series too.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I'm also checking out. I'm going down a little bit. We can always jump back, but a really superb Joker story on page 72. Batman: The Man Who Laughs by Ed Brubaker. This has been out before, but this is a new version of it. But if you want to read a superb Joker story, one of the best writers in comics, do yourself a favor and pick this up.
Oh,
or you can find probably cheaper copies of it, maybe in used bins or something like that. But it's superb.
Excellent Doug Mahnke art as well.
Oh, wait a minute! See, I knew if I was patient, they'd do a complete Doomsday Clock, and there it is on page 74.
Well, good. Now I can read it. Yeah, you know how annoyed I was about that when that came out in the first place.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
and it's
we
a trade
know how
paper.
justified you were in feeling that way too.
Mm-hmm. Yep, and most importantly, it's a trade paperback, so that is worth it. Speaking of trade as well, the Fables Compendium is now being released in trades. And these are thicker volumes than the original, releases. This is 41 issues of Fables, including Fables: The Last Castle and 1001 Nights of Snowfall, and a short story, Fables: Legends in Exile. And it's only $60.
I'm getting this.
Wow.
Yeah, so that seems like it'd be very worth it.
Great series, and I'm ashamed to say I did not actually finish it. I didn't.
No,
finish the
neither
last
did
couple
I.
arcs.
I have to finish half the series. I have all the trades, but I have to finish half of it at least.
And I think I have about 3 or 4 volumes left of it myself.
Anything else from DC Brothers?
Yeah, I'll bring up something that I remember reading as it came out when I was in college. Hard Time: The Complete Series by the amazing Steve Gerber and Mary Skyrenis. Art by Brian Hurt and Steve Bird. This was from a short-lived line that DC put out, and I really enjoyed both volumes of Hard Time. There was a 12-issue run and then a 7-issue follow-up with season 2, and it's about a boy who winds up in jail, and essentially he goes over the edge while there. Really, really well done stuff, and very underappreciated, I feel like.
Well, Gerber, I mean, tragically, he died before his time.
Yeah.
But a consistently great writer. I mean, anybody who wants to see some of the best stuff you can read in the Bronze Age, just go to Steve Gerber's Howard the Duck, for example, and Man Thing. I mean, he was definitely in a class by himself. His sensibility was very unique.
Yep.
So I'm not surprised this was good.
Absolutely.
Up on page 79, we solicit Justice League International's second volume for their omnibus.
Ah, Shane.
Can't help it. Such a good series.
Oh, yeah.
And then on the next page, nice deluxe version of Tom King's Mr. Miracle.
I have a deluxe version of that. I think it was the Barnes & Noble exclusive cover that I got for Christmas this last year that I'm looking forward to reading through.
Wait, have you not read the story yet, Ian?
I have not. No,
I look forward to reaction.
It's on my to-read pile, and it's a very large to-read pile. But again, I've got plenty of stuff to read that I should be reading right now, and this is going to be on the top of the list.
Collecting the question Deaths of Vic Sage from the Black Series.
Now, I actually have. I just got issue 3 in my latest shipment, so I'm going to finish this up, and then I'll give a report on what I thought of it. So.
Rapid Fire 82 and 83. First off, they're finally collecting the Superman's pal Jimmy Olsen.
Buying that immediately.
Who Killed Jimmy Olsen trade. Yep.
That's about the only trade from this catalog I'm getting, but I'm definitely getting it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Come on, it's Fraction and Lieber. Like you can't beat that. And then book 5 of the original Young Justice. We're almost to the end of these collections, and it took them forever to have collections of this, and I need to have them all on my shelf.
So
great
good
series.
Yep.
That's about DC, gentlemen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right, we did it. Our first DC non-previews.
Yeah, fairly painless.
Exactly.
I did enjoy scrolling through the pages. That was easy enough.
Yep.
Let's go back to some good old Pope and back to the IDW section.
Okay.
Right. I'll start us off on 110. Goosebumps, Secret of the Swamp, number 1. I was a huge Goosebumps fan as a kid, and this one looks like it's going to be in the same general style of that. But it's from New York Times bestselling author Marieke Nijkamp from This Is Where It Ends and Before I Let Go and the Oracle Code. And the artist is Yasmin Flores Montanez, who worked on the Marvel Action Captain Marvel series before. And this just looks like it's going to be some genuine Goosebumps fun. And then they really haven't been a lot of Goosebumps comics over the years. So it's nice to see that happening.
I'm looking at, on page 117, it's Star Wars Adventures number 1, but the cover's by Francesco Francavilla.
Oh, my God.
Oh, look at that.
That is gorgeous.
Yeah.
Perfect.
God, he's such a good artist. Oh, man. Whew.
I saw the book on the next page, 118, and for a minute I thought it was going to be a comic book adaptation of Airplane, the movie.
That's a masterpiece.
But instead it's a Smithsonian coloring book, which is still cool, but it's not it. Don't call me Shirley.
Right.
It was fish or chicken. Yes, I had the lasagna.
I still like when Leave It to Beaver's mother talks jive.
Oh. That movie. I think that movie's on Netflix right now. Actually,
I believe it is. Yeah.
Yeah, I believe it is. Yeah.
Look at the artist edition on page 126. Shane, let's go back to the 1990s.
You're not kidding. Wow.
Oh yeah. Yep. Amazing.
Jim Lee's X-Men Artist Edition.
I was at the Comics and More shop in King of Prussia back when the first issue of Jim Lee's X-Men came out and had 17,000 different covers. And picked it up, and that's really that first issue, and then getting something surrounding it at that time. That's when I started reading X-Men, and then I went backward a little bit and kept going forward for years. I
had the fold-out poster, and you know what? It may even still be on my childhood wall because I don't think it's ever been taken off. But I took the cover off of the issue, and had that on my wall, and then eventually bought myself a new copy of X-Men #1 that was untainted.
I think I still have the poster itself. A Jim Lee X-Men poster, but it was also a calendar where all the months are just at the bottom of the poster, so that hung on my wall for a year.
Nice. Page 131 collects Transformers versus the Terminator because, of all things, it had to happen eventually.
Yeah.
And in 1984, no less, according to the story.
Yes, indeed. Yep. So that's
on page 138, an indie creator I've always admired, Andy Watson, has a new OGN, the Book Tour.
I like that they have it going through the Top Shelf brand.
Oh, and Chris, since we're on IDW, they announced today that Netflix is making an animated series out of Usagi Yojimbo.
Oh,
which I'm ashamed to say I've never read.
Yep, that's both.
I know Deemer praises that series to the skies.
Yeah, he does.
Yep.
That's something that's one of the you talk about gaps in your reading history, and that's one of my gaps. Mm-hmm. But I'd love to watch the show. I was thinking here on page 137. I've never been a huge admirer of Rob Liefeld's work, but if he gets to draw Snake Eyes, Snake Eyes has so much gear and pouches. This might work for him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Plus his feet are underwater.
And weirdly, they are the entire issue.
Sorry, those are cheap shots. Very successful man. What the hell do I know?
Oh yeah.
Well, and anytime I see him at a convention, he is there meeting fans for hours and hours and hours.
And he rocks a pair of jeans.
That's it. You guys ready for Marvel?
I believe so.
I wanted to drop a mention on page 140 and 141. This actually sounds interesting. It's from IDW's Black Crown sub-imprint. It's called Hey Amateur, Go From Novice to Nailing It in 9 panels. And it's just 160 pages of nothing but single-page mock how-to tutorials. Some of them more practical and serious in intent than others, teaching the reader how to do a variety of serious to silly things. And it's by just a whole passel of different talented creators. We've got stuff from Gail Simone in there, Kelly Sue DeConnick, Becky Cloonan, Sanford Green, Mark Buckingham, Jill Thompson, China Clugston Flores of Blue Monday, the Hernandez brothers. It's just a lot of different contributors, and it's a fun concept.
I'm glad you pointed this out. It is a great concept.
Yeah,
how to fake a guitar solo. Oh.
That does sound like it could be pretty cool.
All right.
We'll start off, because we have to start off there, on page 4. X of Swords, baby.
It's Hickman's X-Men. I'm going to get it.
Oh, my God.
I mean, the main story.
So, are we supposed to pronounce X-Cross in this case? Because, we had powers of 10 before, so...
Yeah. I'm
just playing with the different phoneticizations of the symbol X.
You're probably right, Murd, but I haven't heard it out of his mouth yet. But I'm going to assume that you are correct. But either way, come on, it's the X-Men with swords. Like the 5-year-old in me is like giddy at this idea, and it's Hickman's story behind it, so it's going to actually make sense.
That's what matters.
Yeah.
All I can say is, if Nightcrawler doesn't have one of those swords in his hand,
you're not kidding.
Good point.
Yep.
You're not kidding.
Yeah, he's got his rapier right there on the ad page.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yep.
All right. Yeah. So it's the main story is in different. So the X of Swords creation number 1, which is chapter 1. Then chapter 2 is an X Factor 4.
Yep.
And of course, there's some offshoots. And then we go right into look at that Alex Ross Iron Man art. Oh my God! Holy mackerel!
That is gorgeous.
Oh, Murd, look, it's the unicorn. Oh.
Yes, I know. It's a lot of classic Iron Man rogues there.
Oh wow! This looks like a Iron Man relaunch. I'm gonna have to get behind because Chris Cantwell and Keifu. Damn.
Yep, and if the Alex Ross cover is an indication of Cantwell's intent to utilize some classic Iron Man foes, so much the better.
Oh, yeah.
Tony's going to find out once a threat to the entire universe rears its head from the past. All right.
Nice.
I'll give it a shot.
Yeah, these preview pages show him fighting Terrax. That's a pretty good start.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
The art is beautiful. Wow.
Oh, my God. Yeah. Stunning.
All right. I'm going to be a sucker and buy Amazing Spider-Man 850.
Yeah, I will too.
It's kind of hard not to, because I mean, for one thing, it's number 850, so I mean that's kind of amazing. But Nick Spencer, Kurt Busiek, and Saladin Ahmed, come on.
Yep. Because I have not read the Nick Spencer run. I've heard good things. I love the Green Goblin, even though they brought it back a gazillion times. So
And
what the hell? I'll give it a shot.
And Bagley's back on art too. At least he is on issue 48.
Do note though that it's only 96 pages for $9.99.
Oh,
Yep.
Yep, Detective number 1027 is definitely the better buy there.
Yeah.
yes, it is.
Oh my God! Look at that! Look at that Mary Jane alternate cover by Bruce Timm.
Yep.
Yeah, to me that screams Batman Beyond.
Oh yeah.
That's from a classic, classic Silver Age story where she's a go-go dancer. I forgot the issue number. She's on the cover dancing in an outfit like that.
Yep.
The
Now-
look on Harry's face, my God.
I got something on page 24.
Yeah, that's what I was going to.
I was going to leave that one for you, Ian.
Yeah.
Whew.
So good for Marvel. That's what I'll say. Good for Marvel for getting the rights to Ultraman, because that is a franchise that is one of the most acclaimed franchises in all of Japan.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
And now,
Yep.
now they're bringing it over once again to American audiences. And it's a miniseries, and it's written by Kyle Higgins.
Kyle Higgins.
Yeah.
He never goes wrong in my book.
Yeah, this looks like it's going to be excellent. And mind you, Kyle Higgins has been working on the Power Rangers, and that series has been fantastic. So this is the perfect fit.
And wasn't there an Ultraman animated movie on Netflix
Yes,
not too long ago? Okay.
yeah, there was.
I did
believe
not
it was
watch that
CGI.
yet.
Yep. Yeah.
Black Widow getting a new book on page 26, written by Kelly Thompson.
Interesting.
J. Scott Campbell.
Which
cover.
Black Widow is it? The clone or the real one?
Who can keep track?
Okay. It doesn't matter. All right.
Yeah, I know. And clearly this was time to come out with the movie, and the movie
Yeah.
is probably getting long delayed again. So I don't know.
I'm interested on page 29. I guess maybe I'll get on my next shipment. Empire, when the Empire story starts, because I ordered I think at least issue 1 on the strength of the writers involved, and the concept is interesting. So I look forward to talking about that.
Yep, it's like Kree-Skrull War ramped up for the 21st century.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
On page 32, Shang-Chi, a new miniseries, which I think is it's resolicited.
Yep.
Yep.
Give that a shot. I can't wait for that movie. And how the hell did I miss on page 34? Mark Waid and Neil Adams are doing a Fantastic Four story, and I missed issue 1. When the hell was that solicited? God, I'm getting old. Holy mackerel!
That may have been the month that we didn't do one, Chris.
Okay.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, because this is definitely a new solicit, because that would have immediately been on my lips as well.
Wade, working with Neil Adams. Look at that cover shot with Galactus about to grasp a planet.
Oh my God. Beautiful.
It's-
And the second issue of the Maestro series by Peter David miniseries, going into the backstory of the Maestro or Maestro, and how he became what he was, went from being Hulk to Maestro.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to reading that.
Too.
Yep.
Ian, I know you've been praising these, and I read one of them on page 43. Another Giant Says X-Men one-shot by Hickman.
Yes.
This one focuses on Storm.
Oh wow. Then that's worth giving a shot. Then yes, definitely.
wow, Russell Dowderman artwork too.
Yep.
they have been hitting it out of the park with getting excellent artists to team with Hickman on these giant size, and they're continuing that for sure. Marvel Zombies back because deceased happened. I calls him like I sees him.
It's so painful when a bright young man like Ian Levinstein gets so cynical. Fantastic. Let's see.
Look at the cover of Spider-Woman #4 on page 49. Talk about gorgeous.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Carla Pacheco on writing and Perez. The cover is by Junjeon Yoon, and that's an artist I'm going to have to remember the name of.
I wanted to point out, I'm jumping ahead here to page. Sorry, and then the page number 60. I think it's 58. Not about the damn pages. So idiotic. Marvel Snapshot. I read the first 2 issues. Submariner. No, I skipped the second one. I have to go back to Fantastic Four, and I read the Captain America one. Really well done. Again, kind of taking the Marvel's approach to different characters, different points in Marvel history. So if you enjoy the Marvel's concept, I think you'll really like these Snapshot books.
Yep, this one is the story of a young Cyclops. It's kind of his Ruby Quartz eye view of the borning Marvel universe.
Nice.
To the kid at the orphanage in Nebraska. And it's co-written by Jay of Jay and Miles Explain the X-Men.
Fantastic. Yes,
terrific.
This is a resolicit because I remember that one being mentioned at least 2 previews ago, and with everything that went down, it's being solicited again. But I will definitely be reading that when it comes out.
When I see the name Mike McCone, an artist I've always admired, when I had my store early in its history, like in the early 2000s, the inker Mark McKenna used to live near me. Mm-hmm. And he and I became friendly. And I see him once in a while at shows. Great guy. But he used to work a lot with McCone. And they worked on a book that was out briefly. I don't know if you remember this one, Ian. It was called Vexed.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It was a DC book. And yep. I got a page from Mark that he and Mike had done. It's where Superman is explaining to someone how to jiggle a toilet to make it work with dialogue. So
I think I recall that Giffen wrote that series.
What's that, my brother?
I think I recall that
Giffen did.
Yes, he did. Yep.
Giffen did.
That is a Giffen thing to write. Superman explaining how a toilet works.
Only like 8 issues long. I wish it would have lasted longer. It was a fun run.
I have to jump back to page 53 for just 1 second, just to point out, never in my life did I ever think that Alex Ross would have the opportunity to draw Captain America in the Iron Patriot outfit.
I don't think I ever thought that Alex Ross would agree to do that, but here we are.
Yep, and it's Ta-Nehisi Coates' run, and it's the conclusion of the All Die Young arc. So, hey, it happened.
I wanted to point out... on page 61, I've been hearing rave reviews of Zdarsky's Daredevil run, and I'm going to go back and get the trades because I haven't read any of it, and which is I'm remiss because I love Zdarsky and I love Daredevil, and I really want to check this out because I've been reading just rave reviews of this book.
I'm firing up my Unlimited, I believe, this weekend, and I'm going to read the first issue finally because it's been something that I've been meaning to do for the longest time, and there's too much good Zdarsky out there, and this is one thing that I need to give a shot.
Opposite page. I'm sorry, Shane. Go ahead.
My only problem with the Unlimited, I keep adding things to read. And it's not a problem. It's just mounting.
Oh, I know. I hear you.
Opposite page. I always like to praise the Cantwell LaRocca Dr. Doom series. They've resolicited issue 7. Superb. Really, I mean, if you love Doom and again, this is another interesting take on the character, and it also explores his relationship with Kang, which is fascinating. So, great stuff. Kang! I think I'm personally done with Marvel, unless you guys have some trades you want to shout out.
Flipping through it now, there's the Always an Invader hardcover on page 73.
Actually, that was a damn good series. I'm glad you brought that up, Ian.
Yeah, and I will be...
That's Zdarsky too, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, that was very good.
Yeah, that's another thing I'll be reading on Unlimited soon because I know you gave that very high praise. I
did. Yeah, I'm glad. I'm totally missed that. Glad you brought it up.
Yep.
Page 76 has another Craven's Last Hunt. I still have my original issues.
Nice. Yeah.
Actually, you know what? Damn it, because I'm such a Marvel zombie. There are things here I want to talk about as I leaf through. The Black Widow Epic Collection on page 95 has some great. We did our Black Widow Spotlight last year. I talked a lot about the Bizarre Adventures 25 story. That's in there. The classic Web of Intrigue story from Marvel Fanfare, issues 10 through 13. Good stuff. So that's a great collection. You know, whenever I see the Avengers West Coast, I just get this soft and nougaty 80s nostalgia in my gut. Like Al Milgram art, it takes you home.
Oh, yeah.
And the next page, that's a great Captain America run because so many people forget that J.M. DeMatteis had a run on Cap in the 1980s.
Yeah.
With Mike Zeck artwork, among others. So that's some good stuff, right? If you love Cap, there's some great Copper Age stuff from Cap. And Shane, I know you appreciate the next book. And so does Ian, I think. I don't know if Murder's read Winter Soldier on page 98. Actually, I ordered this and I have to re-solicit because I don't have it in my library. This is some of the best Black Widow I've read.
Yep. Page 90, they're doing a new printing of X-Men Sword, No Time to Breathe. And this is another one of those series that came and went, but it's a 5-issue series that Kieran Gillen wrote. That spun off of Whedon's Astonishing X-Men. And it was some great stuff. What they did with Beast there and with Brand was top notch.
All right.
Had to be pretty early in Gillen's career, didn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Right around the time that he first started working with Marvel.
I got a few more things, and unfortunately I have to bolt for family reasons, brothers.
No worries.
Anything else from Marvel you wanted to shout out?
No, I'm good.
I think I'm pretty okay. I'll just randomly throw out there Disney Kingdom's Haunted Mansion trade paperback, because why not? On page 101, and then that's it for me.
I should point out in Dynamite that I ordered and I'm waiting for. Oh, fantastic! The first Vampirella trade by Christopher Priest. When I read that, I'll definitely give my report. I'm looking forward to that.
Excellent.
And we mentioned Fables on page 150. Bill Willingham is doing a Vampirella story.
Oh,
that.
Trial of the Soul one-shot.
And I see that John Layman is doing a Mars Attacks Red Sonja crossover.
that's odd.
Yeah.
That I haven't seen that movie in a while, but it's
so silly. Yeah,
so
it's
delightfully wacky. And the body count of that movie is tremendous.
Yep.
God. One thing I wanted to point out, because I got to fly, but it's by custom and tradition, I have to point out tomorrow's. And I was very excited by. I'm jumping way ahead here, of course. On page 322, the back issue 122 celebrates the 40th anniversary of Wolfman and Perez's New Teen Titans.
Mm-hmm.
Featuring a guest editorial by Wolfman and a Perez tribute and art gallery. That's an issue.
That'll be cool.
Wow.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And next to that, Jack Kirby's Dingbat Love hardcover. These are the final complete unpublished Jack Kirby stories in existence, presented here for the first time.
Holy cow.
Wow.
2 unused Dingbats of Danger Street Tales, Kirby's final Kid Gang group, inked by Mike Warner, who did a lot of his inking in the Bronze Age, later Bronze Age. And the newly colored for this book, that was newly colored. And then True Life Divorce. I've read about these. I've never seen them. The abandoned newsstand magazine that was too hot for its time. Reproduced from Jack's pencil art. And Soul Love. The unseen 70s romance book, so funky even a jive turkey will dig the unretouched inks by Vince Coletta and Tony DeZanunga. Wow.
Heavy.
I read that partially anticipating Bird's reaction. I wasn't disappointed. So I may grab that as well.
Yep.
All right, brothers, I got to depart.
No worries.
Yeah, I'm going to have to follow in a few minutes myself.
Okay.
As always, this was an honor and a privilege, and we'll email soon and get ourselves up to snuff on the future.
All right. Sounds like a plan. Via con Rios.
Brothers, have a good night. Take care.
Good night.
sir.
Good night.
All right. Let's scoot ourselves over to Boom real quick. And I've got Wind number 1 on page 170.
And numbers 2, 3, and 4 on the next page after that.
Indeed. James Tinian IV is back again. I think I've pronounced his name two different ways so far, but it's either Tinian or Tinian. I've heard it pronounced both ways.
I think the definitive version I heard, and this comes from the Benson sisters, was Tynan.
There we go. James Tynan IV. That sounds a lot better. But it's a reuniting of him and Michael Diolanus. Oh my God, I'm the worst. and this one's magical heritage is punishable by death in Pipetown. So Wind keeps his true identity and pointy ears a secret from everyone, even if it means never having a normal life. And yes, there are 4 issues of this solicited this month, and they all look fascinating enough, and I may have to give this a shot and trade. All right, Shane, you got anything in Boom or elsewhere you want to point out before you got to roll?
Not necessarily in Boom, but I did want to say that I saw the what was it, 5 years trade and hardback solicited. I still have to read my issues of it, but I'm very excited to. So I'm glad they've collected it already.
Nice.
For anybody that missed it.
Very cool.
If I could just find the darn thing, what page it was on.
So many pages.
I know, and we're out of order. I'm all befuddled.
Yeah, I know.
Boom, boom, boom. There it is. Page 204.
There you go.
5 years omnibus. Hardcover is $39.99. Softcover is $29.99.
Excellent.
Terry Moore does such great work. God. Cannot thank Jamie enough for forcing us into reading that back then.
What Jamie loved, he forced upon us all.
Yeah, and even more fun was the satisfying smug look on his face because he knew he was right.
Oh, yeah.
As we all gushed about it.
Amen to that.
Yep, he savored that like a fine wine.
Yeah, he sure did. Good old Strangers in Paradise.
Yep.
I might have to start rereading that again, too. That's something I want to get through sometime.
Why the heck not? And just reread things you enjoy.
Oh, my gosh, yeah. Yeah. All right.
That's that.
Well, thank you, gentlemen.
Our pleasure, as always. We'll catch you next time.
Yep, sounds good. Take care, and talk to you soon.
Shane.
Thank you.
All right. Have a good night, man.
Bye.
Well, Murd, it's just you and me.
Simple and free.
And I'm still in Boom.
Oh, yeah. I don't think we can leave the Boom section without giving a shout-out to what is on pages 174 and 175.
Oh, you better damn well
which is a
believe it.
news. Yep, it's Al Ewing, a name that we are increasingly coming to cherish and respect. Who's coming out with a new series called We Only Find Them When They're Dead, which is a title lengthy and portentous enough to challenge something is killing the children.
Only this one I say in a booming voice. We only find them when they're dead.
Yes, and what Ewing appears to be bringing us in this series is a cross between Guardians of the Galaxy and Moby Dick. It's set in a world, or a universe, in which the corpses of giant space gods, celestial-type things, are found and harvested for parts and resources by enterprising space captains. And one such captain becomes Ahab-style obsessed with tracking down a living specimen from this race of gods. And so the series follows the misadventures of him and his doomed crew as they traverse the spaceways on this fool's errand.
Yeah, no, it sounds really interesting, and like you said, you had me at Ewing.
Yep, that's really all I needed to see too. But I'm most of the way through a rereading of Melville's Moby Dick that I undertook last fall to celebrate Melville's bicentennial. So I'm in the mood for something that appears to be a spiritual descendant of that tale. And that's what Ewing seems to be giving us here, so much the better.
Fantastic. All right. Well, I'll go down a little bit to page 178 as for the first time as Firefly has had comics, they're doing a big event book. And Firefly Blue Sun Rising is that event. It's written by Greg Pak, illustrated by Dan McDade. As Mal has a new partner, a law-enforcing robot from the Blue Sun Corporation. If he wants to keep his job and protect his sector, he'll have to play by Blue Sun's rulebook. But the robots don't care about motives, about mercy, about anything other than enforcing the law, no matter the cost. Cool enough concept, and I do like my Firefly, and I especially enjoy my Greg Pak.
Yep, he's another writer whose work I've tended to really like. I've never experienced any story set in the Firefly milieu in any medium, though, so have to sit this one out for the time.
Yeah, one of these days, I'm sure you'll wind up getting to a DVD copy of the first season and see whether or not it floats your boat or what have you. But yeah.
It'd be nice if somebody were airing the reruns somewhere on basic cable where I could watch them.
Yeah, good point. Sci-Fi was doing that for a while, but I don't know. I don't know if they're still in rotation or not.
Yeah, if they start doing it again, I'll definitely give them a look.
Excellent. And the main Buffy series, I've heard inklings that this new Buffy revamp is in some ways going to be crossing over with the original Buffy universe. In some aspects, the original television universe of Buffy, not the original movie universe, because that's a whole other story. So that's also something to keep an eye on for if you're a fan of Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Oh, definitely.
Yep. Okay.
Something I'd like to ask you about on page 209, Ian.
Sure.
Is under Action Lab. It's a Peter David project I have not heard of. I'm wondering if you have. It's called Peter David's Artful, and it appears to be a graphic novel adaptation of a novel by Peter David, which in turn riffs on Charles Dickens' Oliver Twist.
Huh. I had not heard of it. And it's fascinating that this exists. So yeah, that's very cool. Thank you for pointing that out, Murd.
Yeah, looks like, the Artful Dodger from Oliver Twist teams up with Van Helsing's son. I assumed, to take on a bunch of vampires. How about that?
Wow. All right. Yeah. I mean, it's, it's cool to see Peter David putting out anything and, him doing it independent. Even more the better.
For sure. And from our friends at Action Lab, that's better still.
Yep. Now to scroll through and try to find more stuff. We got a new book from Zach Thompson coming out of Aftershock Comics on page 210 called Lonely Receiver, art by Jen Hickman. So that's what catches my eye as well, as Jen Hickman's name has come up before. It's about a Katrin Vander, a lonely video producer who buys an artificial intelligence partner that's meant to bond for life. And after 10 years together, her holographic wife suddenly disconnects without a warning. The breakup drives Katrin to the point of near insanity. She's alone for the first time in years and reeling from a loss she can't comprehend. That sounds heartbreaking, but at the same time, fascinating.
That's very timely as people enter into more and more intimate relationships with their technology.
Yep. Think of the movie Her immediately, the 2013 film with Joaquin Phoenix and Scarlett Johansson.
Oh yeah. Also, there was a comic from Image a while ago. I think it was called Alex plus Ava, which is also about a relationship between a human being and a synthetic human.
Very cool. Very next page, B. Clay Moore has a new book, Miles to Go. So Aftershock got some new stuff on the horizon.
Certainly to be encouraged. Okay, here's something I can mention. On page 238, sounds like a halfway interesting horror/humor concept. Grindle, Kentucky. Series coming out through AWA Studios, written by Jeff McCumsey with art by Tommy Lee Edwards. It's about a little town in Kentucky which struck a deal with a subterranean demon monster. It's kind of the traditional sacrifice a virgin for a plentiful harvest situation, except in this case the harvest is weed. And apparently the town is hatching a plan to sacrifice the members of an all-female biker gang to this monster. And bloodshed and hilarity will ensue in equal measure, no doubt.
Well, that sounds like it could be either great or terrible, and I'm not sure which one.
Maybe a little of both.
Yeah. But Tommy Lee Edwards is a name that I'm familiar enough with from the past. So I'm willing to hope that it's definitely on the great end. Page 243, Black Box Comics has a book called Biggs and Tiny. The comedic duo of Santino Lugo and Brian Clay are still on the hunt to figure out why they ended up with superpowers while becoming fast friends. The action doesn't stop on the quest for answers. Just the name Biggs and Tiny draws me to that.
Yep, it is a lovable title.
Yes, it is. Old school buddy comedy action.
Here's something on page 253 that Chris probably would have had something to say about if he'd noticed. Actually, a couple of things. From Crown Books, True Believer, The Rise and Fall of Stan Lee by Abraham Riesman, which sounds like it's not altogether reverent biography of the man and his career in comics. Talks about the high points and it's not shying away from the low points either, from airing some of Stan's dirty laundry. So maybe a little bit of poison ink in Mr. Riesman's pen here. So if you go in for that kind of thing, this seems like kind of a juicy read about Marvel history and Stan Lee in particular. And next to it is something of a slightly more historical bent, Atlas at War, which is a collection of 50 hard-hitting stories from Marvel's precursor Atlas Comics. So you have published between 1951 and 1960, when apparently Atlas was the largest publisher of war comics during that period, since I think the United States had kind of had their fill of war during the previous decade. And some publishers tried to cash in on Korean War era type comics, but didn't have much success. Atlas was one of those that tried that, I guess. And it features work from John Severin, Russ Heath, and Steve Ditko, and Jack the King Kirby, among others.
Wow.
So, interesting time capsule there from Dead Reckoning Publishers.
Sure, yeah. And I mean, going back to the Stan Lee book that you mentioned, every creator has their positives and their negatives. I mean, even going back to the discussion we had about Steve Ditko a couple of episodes ago, there's stories to be told on either end, and it's nice to get multiple sides from every single story, and perhaps that book will be doing just that.
Yeah. I'm actually not opposed to what Mr. Riesman is doing here.
Yeah.
I mean, we've had plenty enough encomia to Stan Lee over the years. It'll be nice to have a history book that shows the negative image of that.
Something that doesn't go through rose-colored sunglasses.
I see what you did there.
I got one on 259 from Fantagraphics. Aqualantic by Giorgio Carpentieri. Among Atlantis' inhabitants is a comedian who interprets the most indefensible and lowest of low characters, the surface-dwelling Earthling. The Aqualantic society, self-identified as original humanity, is only able to coexist with its crude surface brothers thanks to one condition, that Atlantis is considered a myth. But gradually the cynicism and vulgarity of the indefensible Earthman takes possession of the actor, setting off a chain reaction that jeopardizes the peace between the species. That is a cool premise right there.
Really cool. Yeah. And the artwork looks pretty neat, too.
Sure does.
And before we leave Fantagraphics, on the facing page there, 258, just thought I'd point out for fans of Tenacious D and or Jack Black, Post-Apocalypto, the graphic novel, Spinning out of the album and apparently the film of the same name, here's the graphic novel adaptation, the final piece of Tenacious D's post-apocalypto universe. It's actually drawn by Jack Black. So, have you ever wondered how much artistic talent Jack Black has or lacks? Here's 184 pages of proof for you.
Oh, my God. Now, I will guarantee you I will be able to find this in a cheap bin at some point. And when I do, I will pick this up because I saw Pick of Destiny in the theaters, years ago. That movie is schlock, but it is delightful schlock. And I will need to track down the post-apocalypto movie as well and watch that and see what it's like.
Yep. And then you can read the novel of the film.
Heck yeah. Got a graphic novel on page 260 called Ichiro by Ryan Inzana. Raised by his Japanese mother, Ichiro idolizes his dead American father and struggles to fit in. When his mother decides to visit Japan, Ichiro is left with his grandfather. In a country he doesn't know, grandfather becomes Ichi's guide, sharing Japan with him. But one night a monster drags Ichi away into the domain of the gods. Now he must face his fears and learn about the nature of man, of gods, and of war. This sounds like it's made to be an animated movie. And I am thrilled with the premise, and we'll have to track that down, if not at the library, then online in one way or another. That sounds excellent.
It's an Eisner Award nominee. So,
Fantastic.
there's your stamp of quality. Definitely worth a look.
Mm-hmm. Sure is. Then on 261, actually, Dungeon Critters. Tight-knit squad of animal companions on a wild adventure investigating a sinister botanical conspiracy among the furry nobility.
A sinister botanical conspiracy. I like the sound of that.
Same here. The art looks nice and cute.
Now, this is an interesting sounding collection on page 281 under New York Review Comics. It's a hardcover collection of a National Lampoon strip. I'm not sure in which decade or decades this appeared, but it's called Trots and Bonnie. And it's the adventures of a freewheeling, naive, probably slightly airheaded teenager named Bonnie and her intelligent talking dog Trots as they blunder through the mysteries of adulthood. By Sherry Flanagan. This collection is a long overdue introduction to some of the most stunning and provocative comics of the 20th century. Mature themes.
That is cool.
Dating, sex, politics, and violence.
All right.
I mean, it's drawn to kind of look like a comic of the 20s or 30s, but I get the feeling it's maybe a little bit more recent than that.
Yeah. Still, though, I like the aesthetic.
Yeah, so do I.
Yeah. I got one a couple pages earlier. It's a featured item, and we mentioned Batman the Animated Series earlier, and I have to mention on page 274, Batman the Animated Series, the Phantom City Creative Collection. Mondo, one of the best art display companies you can possibly have, is turning their attention towards Batman the Animated Series here. And they've partnered exclusively with award-winning artists at Phantom City Creative, Inc. In order to bring the show to life in a striking and unparalleled way, it's described. Illustrations and an art book, an oversized art book. I would love to have this as a coffee table book. It sounds fantastic.
Yeah, must have for fans of that series.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, hell of a coffee table piece.
Mm-hmm. Oni on page 286, Frankie and the Creepy Cute Critters. On name alone, and from that cover image, it looks freaking adorable.
Yes, the infinity anaconda in the background there.
Mm-hmm. Another one that looks like primed to be an animated series. Not a lot else for me, it looks like, but scrolling down and trying to find at least one or two other hotspots. All right, page 306. They had me at Brooklyn. Witches of Brooklyn by Sophie Escabase. Effie lost her mom, lost her home, and now she has to live with two strange aunts who she's never met before. Life in Brooklyn takes a strange twist for Effie as she learns more about her family and herself, with new friends who will do whatever they can to be there for her, a cursed pop star, and her new magically inclined family. Effie's life is about to get interesting. You had me at cursed pop star that time.
It's good. All ages appropriate offering from Random House.
Mm-hmm. Sure is.
Let's see. On page 316, we've got. Well, it happens fairly often nowadays that people publish collections of essays treating the philosophical concepts and questions raised by certain comic characters. I think we have in our possession right now at the CGS studio such volumes about the Joker and the Black Panther. But Titan Comics is publishing one called The Philosophy of Spider-Man.
Huh.
Apparently they did one about Deadpool a little while ago, too.
All right. I mean, there's certainly a lot to be said about the web slinger that hasn't been said. So why not?
Yeah. Although actually, looking at it a little more closely, maybe it's not quite as scholarly as the title might imply. Yeah, I think it might just be just a book of splashy images, not so much academic essays. Yeah, that's too bad.
Well, that's a darn shame. So close.
Yeah.
For anybody who's a fan of Aliens, the making of Aliens is on page 320. So if you want behind-the-scenes photos and historical snippets from the making of that famous sequel, you've got it there from Titan Books.
Chris has already offered his monthly PN to tomorrow's, but I think I'm going to have to put in my own 2 cents.
Go ahead.
On page 321, the next issue of Alter Ego magazine, number 166. It's their occasional Fawcett Collectors of America special. They used to do these fairly often. Not quite as often these days, but number 166 is an example. So it's a focus on Fawcett characters, most particularly the Marvel family. And issue number 166 is talking mostly about the contributions of 2 artists to the Shazam legacy, Kurt Schaffenberger and Alex Ross. And it's going to submit to tight scrutiny, I think, that big piece of artwork that Alex Ross produced a little while ago, and that's been circulating online. It's this big crowd shot of all these different characters from throughout popular culture that were in one way or another, directly or indirectly, inspired or influenced by the original Captain Marvel.
Interesting.
Yeah, so I think this issue is probably going to provide a little bit of breakdown of that and also some commentary from Mr. Ross himself on it.
Well, that is worth a look.
You betcha.
Yep. We'll have more on Captain Marvel later.
Count on it.
Page 327. I've got Quantum and Woody, Earth's Last Choice, the trade paperback. Written by Christopher Hastings, art by Ryan Brown. This looks zany as heck in the way that Quantum and Woody should. Like it's got a whole level of like indie artist insanity going on the pages that they display there on page 327. So I may have to check that one out at some point. That's the first 4 issues of the new Quantum and Woody series collected here. I am almost to the manga section myself. So if you've got anything pre-manga, be my guest.
I might, actually.
Go right ahead.
Okay, actually, there's a couple of things under Vault
Go ahead.
I might want to mention. Let's see, on page 332, a new series called Heavy, written by Max Bemis, art by Eric Donovan. Max Bemis is the guy who wrote a miniseries called Oh, Kill Strike, which is his love/hate letter to the hyper testosterone, big gun toting characters of the 90s. And this series, Heavy, appears to be a continuation of that theme, only with a slightly more serious bent. It's about such a person, just as Killstrike. a character named Bill who dies and discovers that he has to earn his way into a comfortable afterlife. He has to perform certain chores for the administration of said afterlife, acting as what's called a heavy, whose job is, quote, policing the multiverse, making sure bad eggs get what's coming to them. So basically he gets to be that angelic Punisher figure from Marvel Knights in the early 2000s. It's described as, quote, a story about the existential purpose of dumb boys with big guns. So it's basically purgatory for 90s image characters.
Oh,
so
yeah. Yep, that's exactly what it sounds like to me.
Interesting bit of meta there. And on page 334, another thing that just kind of roped me in with its title, there's a lot of that going around this month, it seems. It's called The Autumnal, and it sounds like a kind of a murder mystery thing set in an idyllic, quaint little New Hampshire town around the time of the leaf turning season. The Autumnal. And it will be released, hopefully, in September, just when we're all going to be in the mood for a nice autumn-themed story. So I think I may give that a try.
Frankly, with how hot it's been in New York the past couple of days, I'm looking forward to autumn right about now. So, yeah.
Yeah, I feel your pain, Ian. It's pretty humid down here in South Jersey, too.
Mm-hmm. Yep. All right, let's manga it up.
All right, let's do that.
Okay, on page 351, we have two first volumes that call my name from Vertical. First off, With a Dog and a Cat, Every Day is Fun, Volume 1, by Hidekichi Matsumoto. Are you a dog person or maybe a cat person or maybe both? Based on author Hidekichi, I said his name already. Based on his real life experiences, or her life experiences, she shows us what it's like to live with both a dog and a cat. It's just silly dog-cat fun. Like, you can't go wrong there. But the one that really calls my name is on the other side of the page. Weathering with You, Volume 1, by Makoto Shinkai. Now, this was an animated movie that was released back in 2019 that I got to see in theaters back when theaters still existed.
Yes.
Yep, back in the day. And I loved this movie. It was excellent. And this is the manga adaptation of said movie. During one summer in high school, Hodaka runs away from home to the bustling city of Tokyo. There he meets a girl named Hina. Little does he know that Hina has powers that not only affect the weather, but the whole world. It's a beautifully done story, and honestly, if you have not seen the movie and you can track it down, it's well worth watching. But I would assume that the manga is just as stunning, and well worth your time as well. Those are both on page 351. In fact, I may have even mentioned seeing Weathering with You on the show in a comic talk, if I remember correctly.
It definitely sounds familiar, Ian. I think you probably did.
Yep.
Some back-to-school possibilities on page 352, manga adaptations of several classics of 19th century literature.
Yeah.
We got Hawthorne, we got Charlotte Bronte, we got Jane Austen, we got Dickens.
So now kids can read it the easy way.
Probably beats the Cliff Notes.
Oh, probably. In fact, definitely. I'll say definitely.
All right.
All right. What else we got? Got to get at least one more in here somehow. Going past the usual ad for Mob Psycho, which is in every single previews.
I've noticed that.
Yeah, they paid a lot of money, Dark Horse. I'm going to go with page 367. And
right.
Fly Me to the Moon. First comes marriage, then comes an earthbound love that is out of this world. From the day his parents named him, NASA Yuzaki has been destined for outer space, or so he believes. But while trying to join the space program, he is thrown for a loop when an accident introduces him to Tsukasa, a mysterious girl with strange powers. Is she an alien, a moon goddess, or something else? Since she insists on marrying him, NASA will have plenty of chances to find out. That's usually a good way to find out about somebody, marrying them.
Yeah. Skip those preliminaries.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Just get right to the heart of the matter. Sure, go right ahead. And that, I believe, shoots my bolt. Unless you got anything else.
I don't see anything having to do with My Little Pony in here, so I don't think I have any other manga to mention.
Yep, and they've already put out the Transformers manga, so I don't have anything else to mention on that one either. So I think we're pretty much good to go here.
Yep. As soon as they put that out in softcover, I'll be grabbing a copy of that for myself.
Absolutely, and I look forward to hearing about it. Okay, all right, so that's that, and we're back in the preview saddle 100%.
Feels good, I gotta say.
Yeah, it does. It really does. It was a hole that was missing in the CGS ecosystem, and now it's been filled once more.
Right. Yes, we've narrowly avoided ecological disaster.
And once again, the day is saved. Okay. So I will throw that usual thank you out there that we've been giving outside of the final credits for anybody out there who has thrown a donation our way in the past couple of months. We 100% appreciate it. Keeps the lights on here, both in the digital ecospace and in that studio that we hope to get back to sometime soon.
Plans are afoot.
Indeed. And we thank anybody who gives any amount, whether it be $1 or more or even less. We thank you very much for any sort of support you give to the show, and you can do so over at comicgeekspeak.com/donate.php. Just go ahead and click right on that PayPal button. Alrighty, you ready to wrap us up?
You betcha.
Okay, let's roll.
If you'd like to send us an email, you can send it to comicgeekspeak@gmail.com. If you'd rather leave a voicemail, you can call 267-702-6642. You can like us on Facebook. You can join the Comic Geek Speak supergroup there to engage in conversation and talk back with us and with your fellow listeners. You can also visit thecomicforums.vanillacommunity.com to do much the same thing. You can follow us on Twitter, where our handle is @ComicGeekSpeak. We would like to thank, as we already have, and as we will continue to do, everyone who has donated to the show recently or in the distant past. We really appreciate it, and the show would not be what it is today without your help and support. And as always, we are uniting the world's mightiest heroes, one listener at a time.
You got it on Wednesday, and you was psyched about it going to the volume up. These guys will talk about it, everything the geeks love. From cakes to laser beams, opinions like the seasons on